Um, I just want to comment on Malema's views about Johan Rupert, and I just think honestly he is just using the concept of white capital monopoly to gain um, the constituents of the EFF. This is just me speaking my observation here. Malema is a populist. Is someone that uses bait. Is someone that uses charisma to charm. With his weight or kind of like command attention. He's just nothing but a populist. Like he can take something that is truthful and exaggerate it so that it can either become inflammatory or exciting. It's like he just works with ecstasy. That's why he's always the only one talking in his political parts, right? So the thing is, like, if you're gonna talk about the Ruperts and the Stellenbosch mafias, these are the people that were created by or thrived under the apartheid. These are the people that came and took advantage of the economy during the apartheid rule, which favored them, right? Okay, fast forward, don't we have people that have been enriched by the ruling of the ANC? Don't we have people that post-democracy are being created to be millionaires because of the political sphere that allows them to thrive? Malema is rich. Malema is living the Park, if I'm not mistaken. He's living on the suburbs, on the high-end suburbs of Johannesburg. He probably maybe have multiple properties. Malema is rich in a sense. He's not like his common constituents that he promises economic liberation. Malema is not fighting for his people like maybe Mandela prior he became a president, where he lives amongst them and understands their struggle. Malema is living on gated houses. He lives a privileged life. When Malema's son or when Malema's wife or even him, Malema, when he gets sick, he's not going to attend your common hospitals at Johannesburg. Malema is a boy who grew up to be a man that now lives in high-end suburbs, right? Julius Malema is coming from Seshiho, ditched Seshiho in a sense. Okay, I understand he had to relocate, and he did not choose to go and live at Soweto or any other, black townships. He went to live with the rich of the rich. Malema's clothes is expensive. Malema's children, they go in private schools. They don't even go, or they go in the best schools in South Africa where you pay a lot of money. Malema drives the expensive cars. So Malema is not like really your leader that represents you, that you must be liberated. Your leader must be someone who's like you, or rather who has achieved something and is saying, I am putting my resources on the line to free you. So Malema, if he's attacking Johan Rupert or the Stellenbosch mafia, it's because he's jealous. But Malema, when he was on ANC, he achieved a lot of things himself. If really he was about the freeing and majority benefiting, he would have not been having farms. He would not be living in high-end suburbs. His kids will be like the common kids of South Africa, like majority blacks or colors, whatever, So he's not just someone that is like the face. Malema is baiting people. This thing, Johan Rupert, when he was in the White House yesterday, it made me realize that, yes, I understand. He's white capital monopoly, or white capital minorities, whatever the case is. He just benefited on the era where it favored him. And he's still creating more jobs. He's not taking his companies or running away and ditching South Africa, or he's not like living like other people that will just go outside of the country and take their money and their business and just, like the other white people did in all other African countries. He's still here. Yes, I understand he's still here because he's benefiting, but at least there are people that he puts bread on their tables. Because if you look at the African countries whereby majority are in government or are the business people of those African countries, they're not really helping. Rather, those people who have gained their independence 60 years ago, they are coming and running into South Africa. Because we must face the elephant in the room, that we as blacks have not shown enough competency to lead each other. When we are given power, what we do, we take for ourselves and for our circle. And we leave the people that took us into those positions into poverty, into calamities of poverty. We take our own circle and elevate them, take our children to Europe and all these things, and leave the country plundered into disaster. We don't care about infrastructure. We don't care about institutions. We care about nothing but looting. That's the fact. That's what we should be discussing here. The criticism must really leave the white man alone. The white man gave you systems, institutions, and etc. We inherited the best infrastructure which was created by the apartheid government. And we are destroying it. We are putting it down. And you're going to come here preaching to us about Rupert just because you want to gaslight us? Malema is a clown and it's a scam. I used to like this guy, but now he's just a fraud. If Malema was really serious about what he's talking about against Johan Rupert, he would not be entertaining the same level of richness or of luxury as Johan Rupert. What's the difference between Rupert and Malema? It's because Malema hasn't made enough businesses, but they can afford same cars, probably high-end cars. They can accept expensive. They can afford expensive clothes, etc. So I don't get it. I don't get it. If South Africa is real about to condemn this guy Johan Rupert, then let us not be making black millionaires right now. Let's not make them. Let's all be really equal and be communists, if that's what it is. Malema is gonna claim that he's a communist. He's living on the capital estates most. He's living a capitalistic life. He's enjoying the benefits of capitalism. Malema is a fraud. He's a clown. I must keep quiet. And then I want to speak about the elephant in the room. If really black people want to claim power from the white people or these colonial institutions, they must really try to be like East Asia. And I want to talk about South Korea, Japan, China, and Taiwan. Not necessarily about Taiwan, Singapore rather. But all these are like giants of East Asia, right? These, first and foremost, if we are really serious about taking our powers from colonialism, we must not really be shouting Boma reports and all stuff. We must look at what South Korea did. South Korea, when there was division and there was war between North and the South, because the South was taken by America and the North was conquered by Soviet Union. The North Korea had a majority of resources, natural resources of the country, and the South really had little to nothing. But what happened was America helped South Korea. However, their leader, I can't remember the name, he emphasized education and economy and less dependency on foreign aid. And that's what propelled the country to the position it's at right now. So really, this thing of singing about kill the poor is just nonsensical. And shouting white capital is just nonsensical. If our government is really serious, you go to those white capital monopoly and engage them to say, help the poor. I don't think they will have a problem. I don't think they have not been helping. You see? And say, we need to invest on education, good policy, and invest on the culture of manufacturing and on the culture of innovation. So real research, we must be like a research lab. We must be lab stars here. We must be focusing on things like that's good Good education aiming to achieve what? We must be talking about those things, not just, I feel like the politicians like Malema, they just really like to like sound smart, but really they are not visionaries. Or they haven't proven to be visionaries. They haven't done anything that proves that they are visionaries. Malema has a certain level of access to certain things, or resources, or money. He could have really been having his own village or some sort of like a sphere where he really is proving to us that this is what he can do on a larger scale. Start little, show us. Not being big on like speaking and insulting. Going after Rupert, who puts a lot of bread in different families. Whilst you're doing nothing, you're just living on the high-end suburbs. I don't hate Malema. In fact, it's one of the politicians I've spoke greatly about in my social medias, whatever the case is. Not even popular, but I just write about things. I don't have no social media traction. I don't care about it. I just care about putting out my thoughts and just my knowledge. So you look at Japan. Japan, of course, was never colonized, but it opened the doors to the British. What it did, we can learn from them. Because they invited the best of the best to help them. And today they are manufacturing, and today they are one of the top leading countries with regards to technology. Same like China, same like South Korea, same like Singapore, you see, or Taiwan. So the formula is easy here. Invest on education that is progressive. Technology. Stop teaching kids about labeling skeleton. That is for biologists. That is for those who aspire to become biologists. You see? Teach people about financial literacy. We should be focusing on like this. Our education should focus on such and such things. Not gaslighting people. White capital, monopoly, kill the poor. How is it relevant in our context? How is it changing anything? It just makes people inflammatory, haters, and it just... I'm sorry. FF people are just fanatic and cultists. Like they're just fanatic. That's just all. They just have nothing like they have no action. They have just big mouths, and they like to sound smart. So if EFF was really serious about this economic freedom, what? They really should be giving us a framework or a blueprint like these countries that I've mentioned. Let's not pretend like South Korea was never colonized. It was annexed by Japan, you know. Let's not forget that China also was exposed to British colonialism, Hong Kong or any other, and it closed itself because it didn't want to really be invaded. But it came out and said, okay, we're going to now engage the world. We're not going to become like North Korea. We're not going to engage the world, but we're going to invest on our own people. And rightly so, invite the best of the best. Today, they are leading plans of their cars. They're manufacturing their own things. Whilst South Africans are still importing. We're manufacturing, we're not even much, we're assembling, we're assembling. There's nothing that is ours from scratch. But my VW, it is just us assembling, just putting together pieces, nothing much. It's not even our own. So Singapore, how it turned itself around. Their leader, who I forgot again, he emphasized education. He emphasized the language, the global language, English. He, like it or not, you gotta prioritize English because there's economy attached to the language, of course. So one of the things that we have to do to stop teaching people vernacular, teaching them with vernacular so that we can be proficient in speaking the language. Not to say it's going to kill our languages. I mean, if your language does not have any economic empowerment, what's the point? I mean, again, I'm not saying it must kill you. He emphasized the language, and he emphasized that the politician must be paid a lot of money so that they can stop being looters and thieves. And then on top of that, he said zero tolerance to corruption. So the country is stable. So these are the things that for me, this is a framework that I'm laying down. Let's learn from these countries, which are now even overtaking the colonizers of the world, which is Europe. This is the right way to go. We learn from the best. The best is Asia now. I'm sorry. Yes, and also America, we can learn from them. But I mean, America has been an oldest economic powerhouse, which take advantage of us. So we now have a blueprint to say, oh, the people that have never colonized others, but work themselves out of colonization so that they can gain their economic independence. These are they, right? That's the only thing South Africans need to hear, not this stupidity of Malema. Me, on behalf of black people, Johan Rupert, God forgive us, I'm sorry.